One question that I'm asked a lot is, how do you decide when to invest in a company that hasn't yet come into the market? And if you aren't an experienced tech investor or you live outside of tech, it can seem like you're just spraying money around, making random bets. This is why in a lot of ecosystems where the capital comes from non-tech sources, we tend to see more of the investment require traction and revenue and things that could be understood in terms of the business. There's an entire category of investing, what we refer to as pre-seed investing, that is typically pre-revenue. And the idea there is to give a company the opportunity to build a prototype, build whatever they need to in order to validate whether or not the technology works and there's an opportunity there. And for companies that are more technical in nature, right? Not necessarily deep tech, but they require some real heavy lifting to get even a prototype off the ground. They often need capital just to see that out. And so the question becomes, how do I decide if I meet two or three people and they've got an idea and maybe they've got a schematic and something they've done over weekends or whatnot, whether or not that's a good investment? So to start off with, we need to understand, is there a market for what they're building? That doesn't necessarily mean that the founders have figured it all out. It doesn't mean that they've gone out and sized the market and done a TAM SAM type of analysis. But just realistically speaking, if this thing exists, are there people or companies or organizations willing to buy? Right? So for example, my background, I come from the world of databases. If somebody were to invent a materially better database, we know unequivocally there's a market for that. We don't yet know how it's going to be priced. We don't yet know who exactly is going to buy it, what's going to be the target market initially, but we know there's a huge market for databases. So if someone comes and says, hey, I figured out something different that has a material advantage that is plausible in terms of, being impactful for potential customers, we know we can sell this, or we think we can sell this. So then the question becomes, can this actually work? What can you show me to demonstrate that the idea you have is plausible? That could be in terms of a prototype, that could be in terms of some experiments, right? Hey, we built a very simple version of this that can only do one thing, but it can do that one thing 100 times better than the status quo, and we can reasonably extrapolate that out to the rest of the use cases. Okay, that's great. It could also be in terms of the pedigree, the background of the founders. Hey, I built something very similar at this company, and here's how that experience is going to translate in what I'm trying to do here. Right? And the last thing we want to do is we really want to validate the opportunity. And this is why, as an investor, spending time in San Francisco is so critical, because there's so much more activity going on in that market. And there's so many startups there that are still in stealth mode. We still don't know what they're doing. So being able to pick up the phone and contact other investors, other subject matter experts, executives, CEOs, founders down there and say, hey, I've met a group of founders. This is what they're building. Have you seen anything like it yet? Is this interesting? How does this map to what you're seeing in the market? Is hugely impactful in my ability to make high conviction decisions. I can hear back, hey, wow, that's amazing. If they actually build this, I will fund this, or I will buy this. Or I could hear back, actually, there's like 6 other companies already doing this, and 3 of them have raised $50 million, and you just don't know about it yet. So all of this is around creating a picture of, is this worth an investment from the perspective of, is there an opportunity there? Does the team seem qualified? And do they seem credible in terms of their ability to capture that opportunity, such that we can make the investment to effectively give them the first play at the poker table, turn over the first set of cards?